Well, today I'm going to do a quick review of some new underglaze that I'm trying out. And this is not a sponsored review. It's of a product called Penguin Pottery, and they make this underglaze. So there's 8 that was in the set. So I'll just show you the colors. I got purple, I got red, I got yeah, the red looks very pinkish to me. I got what else did I get here? Got some orange, and I also got white, and I got some black, and there's 8 in the container here. So I got some green, and I got yellow. This is the yellow. And then I also got some blue. So that's the complete set. So I would make a suggestion though. I'd rather not have had the orange, because orange I can make myself by mixing yellow and red. It would have been nicer to have a brown in the package. So here's my initial reaction opening the very first container, which is the green. And so I'm just going to open it. And like all glazes or underglazes, you have to mix it really well before using it. So my initial reaction is, holy Hannah, it's very thick. So it's a little thicker than what I'm used to when it comes to underglaze. So that might pose a problem when I'm applying it, and I'll show you why. So I'm just going to grab a fork and give it a really, really good stir. So before you use any kind of glaze products, you should always make sure that it's fully mixed. So these containers are 4-ounce containers, so there's a fair amount in each container. And you can buy them directly from Penguin Potteries, or you can also buy them off of Amazon. So they're a relatively newish company that are in the United States, and all of the products are made in the United States, which is really nice. They do all come with 100% guarantee. So that's really good, because you don't find that with other glazes. So as you can see, it's kind of got, I would say, it's similar to pudding. So I'm used to my underglazes being a little bit more liquidy. So this to me reminds me more of a really thick slip than of an underglaze. So, and when I get into using the black, I'll show you. It's like, it's so thick, and it almost has like, I'd say like almost too much clay in it. That's kind of my gut feeling. So we'll see after it's fired. That'll be the real test. So right now I'm just painting my little tiny pottery, and this will also give you kind of an idea of what I do when I paint my pottery. So I just use a really, really tiny, tiny little paintbrush with a very fine tip on it, and I'm just putting in some little stems and leaves, and I'm going to paint this little piece. So I'm using it straight up, right out of the jar. So, and as you can see, I'm just kind of trying to paint it. And yeah, it's really difficult to do those leaves because it is quite sticky and quite thick. So I find with underglaze that I guess you can add water to it, although I would not add just tap water right out of the tap. I would add a little tiny bit of distilled water to it to thin it out. So yeah, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time with it, like compared to the other brands that I've used recently. So yeah, It's and I guess it'll all come out in the wash after it's been fired to see if I'm getting enough of color, enough color on it, because I want these colors to be quite bright and vibrant. I also like when you use underglaze kind of like a watercolor painting. So some of it to be lighter in spots than others, especially when I'm doing flowers. And so this is the black. Now, the curious thing about this black, I'm just going to paint this little puppy up here, is any other underglaze like Speedball or Mako or any other underglaze I've ever used, the black has never been gray. It's like more heavily pigmented. The other brands that I've tried, and this one looks like it's straight up a gray color, which is a little unusual. So, so we'll have to see once it's fired whether or not this is going to come out as a pure black color. Now, it does say on the container to do 3 coats. Well, I have never done 3 coats of underglaze on anything that I've ever made before. So I'm going to just stick with what I know, and that's just 1 coat. So painting these tiny little items that I make, it would be not it would be way too much work to do 3 coats. I don't think that that should be necessary, and I don't mind if it turns out a little bit streaky because I think that kind of adds to the charm. However, I don't want it to, do you know what I mean? Like, not look like it's black. I don't want this to look like it's charcoal gray. I want it to be black. So, and yeah, comparing it to the other products that I've used, yeah, it's almost like there's too much clay. Or my fear is there isn't enough pigment in it that it might not be quite as black as what I'd like it to be. So I'm just going to carry on and assume that it will turn out black. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint these items just like I normally would with any other underglaze, and kind of take it from there. So I won't know until this is fired whether or not it's going to be true to the colors that are on the containers. So we'll see. So at least this kind of gives you an idea of the time it takes and how I do go about painting these little miniatures that I create. So they're a lot of fun to paint. So I'm just putting a little nose on them. And as you can see, and now I'm just going to paint the little mouth there. There you go. There's one side. And then there's the other side. It's kind of cute. And just going to make sure that the lines are showing up. And this is like quite thick. So I just hope that it doesn't leave kind of ridges. So I'm just putting some little spots on his back. And the clay body that I'm using is actually a 370, which is kind of a whiter clay. So it's not a pure white like a porcelain, but it is a white. So I do use porcelain clay as well, but I figured the best bet is to just do this on a typical clay body. So it should be able to give me, because I've done like lots and lots and lots of underglaze on this particular 370 clay from Plainsman Pottery. So there you go. So now this is the red. And once again, it's not as heavily pigmented as what I'm used to. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little dot on it to represent the little tongue hanging out. Sorry, I'm out of frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this red to paint some little flowers on that original vase that I had done with green leaves and stems. So, sorry, put it into focus there. So you can see those are the little flowers that I'm putting on. And I do like to mix my underglaze, so I would probably normally take a little bit of this red, add some white to it, make some pinks so that my flowers have more dimensions. So, but for the purpose of doing this, I just kind of want to just kind of use it straight out of the can. So, and I'm using just a little bit of blue to give my little puppy some eyes, and then I'll have to take a little bit of black and give him some pupils. So there you go, that's the little puppy. So yeah, he looks a lot lighter colored than what I'm used to. So, and I'm just gonna go in and make some little flowers on this vase, and I'm just doing that just by dotting some blue all over it. And then after I'm finished doing the blue, then I'll go back in and do some purple dots on it just to give these little flowers a little bit of dimension. And then I'll put some green leaves and stems on it. So this is kind of typically how I like to paint my little pottery. So yeah, and again, this is really thick. And I'm kind of afraid that when it's fired, that the underglaze will look a little bit raised. So, I think I'm going to have no choice but to maybe add a little bit of distilled water and see if I can't thin this down a little bit. So, you can see here, I'm just going to go ahead and completely paint this one with the blue just to see what I get. Oops, I dropped it. And yeah, so we shall see. So yeah, the proof will be in the pudding after it's fired. So hopefully it'll get fired sooner rather than later. So I do my pottery firing at a community pottery studio. So, you know, you have to wait your turn in order to get things fired. So, and right now our kiln that we use for doing the bisque firing is not operational. So, yeah, it might take a couple weeks before I'll be able to do the second video on this. So right now I'm just kind of giving you my impressions. So I have taken some of this underglaze and I put it on a little plastic container, and I have added my brush, got my brush wet with some distilled water, and yeah, once I've done that, look at how much easier it is to get the kind of detail that I'm looking for. Yeah, it just needs to be thinned down slightly. Now, my stuff came off of Amazon, and you know, I always wonder when you buy stuff from Amazon how long it might have sat in an Amazon warehouse, and maybe the reason why this underglaze is so thick, maybe it's older stock, because look at how much nicer it works after I've thinned it down a little bit. So yeah, I'm much more happy with it thinned down. So you can see here I'm just doing a little plate here with some little flowers on it, and yeah, that's working out for me so much better. So you can see here, I'm just putting a little bit of purple on as well, just to kind of bring it out. So these flowers will be purple and blue. So yeah, I'm hopeful that that's gonna turn out nice, vibrant. As you can see, I'm not gonna bore you guys by showing you every single little piece that I've painted, but I will show you how I'm watering it down. So you can see how thick it is coming straight out of the container. And then I'll just tighten the lid on that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water to it just to kind of thin it down. Do you see how I'm adding water? There you go. So that's a much better consistency for the small work that I do. So this on the top here, I'm making a landscape. So I'm not wanting total coverage on this. I want it to be quite thin, and the same for the green. So that's the ground, and then the top where the blue is, that's the sky. And I've intentionally not painted it solidly. And then I'm going to go in, and I've got some black, and I'm going to use the black to make a little tree. And this is where it would be really handy if I had some brown. So I'm going to have to go ahead and buy some brown. Yeah, because I don't have any more of my own. So, so again, I would have preferred not to have purchased the orange, because orange is not a color that I use as often. And if I need orange, I can always mix the yellow and the red together to create my own orange. Whereas brown is a little bit more of a pain in the butt to create by mixing it. So, and as you can see, I'm making a little tree here. And then I'm going in with some green. And I'm just going to put little blobs of green here and there to represent leaves. So this is kind of an abstract kind of concept. And then by last color, I need a little yellow sun. So this is the yellow. And do you see the color of the yellow? Like, it's not bright at all. It's like so weird. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what this is going to look like once it's fired. So, yeah, and it's kind of neat that I'm sharing with you the process of how I do these things. So again, I'm just watering it down with a little bit of distilled water. And I'm just going to plunk a little sun there in the corner. And I like the way these landscapes look. You know, they're way easier to paint than what they look. And when you're done, oh my goodness, they're so pretty. So you can see here, these are all the various pieces that I've done. See the little vase there with the birch trees on it. And there's the landscape piece and a couple plates. And there's the little puppy. And I did a little vase with a Santa Claus on it. So, and all of these pieces are under 1 inch. So they are going to be quite tiny. So fingers crossed this stuff works good. So I'm really very hopeful. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Dobo. I'd like to thank everyone that has helped to support my channel by going to buymeacoffee.com. It's appreciated more than you know. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free of charge. And I hope I didn't do a disservice to Penguin Pottery, just giving my honest thoughts. So, and the proof will be in the pudding after these little pieces have been fired. So once again, thank you very much for watching today. And as always, I hope you all have the best day ever. I've just reached 2,000 subscribers, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway in my next video. And again, have the best day ever, you guys.